You're born a gray squirrel in the man-made city of New York. Your home is a cramped nest, maybe in a drain tucked under a dumpster, or deep within Grandpa's old jalopy, or worse, behind a loose shingle under a roof. Your tiny putrid eyeballs are closed and you're furless. The world outside is loud, dangerous, and indifferent. Your ears are pierced by the shrieks of your brethren as you crawl aimlessly over their squirming bodies. Your chances of survival are slim, and you have a hard life ahead. You are a city squirrel, and this is your short, brutal ride through life. One of your siblings, in his hubris, decides to leave the nest early, only to be faced with the punishing reality of the concrete driveway. You're wise to stay where you are, where it's comfy and warm. For the first 7 to 8 weeks of your life, you depend entirely on maternal milk. But soon, Mommy Dearest will have to scavenge for her new family. All she will do for the rest of her natural life is hunt for food sources: nuts, acorns, seeds, fruit. These prove dangerous to find among the concrete jungle filled with manicured lawns, non-native animals, and the despicably evil human children playing outside. On one of the mother's earliest family food supply runs, she encounters a stray dog. Large and muscular, she is surely outmatched by this foul beast. Within seconds, the chase is on. Through romantic picnics and children's birthday parties, the dog's tenacity powers through with strenuous velocity. Mother Squirrel is getting tired, but will not give up on the escape act. She quickly climbs a crooked drain pipe. As the dog is hungry and destitute below, running off to find its next victim, Mother can hyperventilate in relief only for a brief moment as the abrupt sound of a car horn shatters her nerves, causing her to leap 10 feet in the air. This throws her squirrely equilibrium as she falls quickly into the unknown below. When Mama Squirrel picks herself back up, she soon realizes that she is rewarded greatly after surviving this face-off with death. She has landed in the perfect spot, right next to a bush full of berries. The family will be eating well this evening. This was a lucky outing, but what if your mom finds garbage scraps such as potato chips, rotten meat, and anonymous city sludge instead of sweet, succulent nuts and seeds? Your growth is stunted significantly, your bones brittle and frail like glass, your immune system is compromised, and your body becomes stricken with infertility. But luckily for you, your mother's survival instincts happen to be better than the rest. In about 4 to 5 weeks, you can open your eyes. You start growing fur and become more physically adept. You learn to climb, leap, forage all on your own. With ease, this hard rock forest becomes your territory, as your smooth, squirrely brain creates a map of your surroundings with pinpoint accuracy. You have fantastic spatial memory, visual cues, and sense of smell, and you are possibly even tapped into the Earth's magnetic field. These will all be skills essential to your survival, but when faced with the ingenuity of human achievement, your instincts are on high alert. You will need decent calories, fats, proteins, minerals, a natural diet your mother was able to provide, but now you are tasked with supplying it all on your own, a task much harder for a squirrel in the big city. A new day starts and you wake up in your brand new, back-up, flimsy nest wedged between a tree branch and a building. Nature around you quickly turns this early morning slow rise into the rush of chaos. Birds, stray cats, and morning commuters are all prepared to ruin your day. You rush down the tree to avoid all possible conflict, and off into the distance, you spot a discarded slice of pizza, spilled sunflower seeds, and a half-chewed bagel. You must make a quick decision of what you will consume for breakfast. Time is ticking, and you decide on the sunflower seeds. After all, this will be best for your squirrely diet. You begin stuffing down sunflower seeds at an alarming rate, sitting upright so you can quickly consume them with ease. In your mindless, gluttonous indulgence, you almost forgot to stockpile some in a nearby backup nest as a small fetid morsel for when the chips are down, a rank reminder of your endless desire for nutrients. The rest of the day is spent weaving through traffic, climbing power lines, and raiding trash bins, while raccoons, stray cats, and humans keep stress levels high. However, the massive amounts of city pigeons lurking at every street corner doesn't seem to get in your way. While not the best of friends, you find them to be mostly harmless and non-intrusive in regards to your quest for a good meal. The only negative is that they may look at you kinda funny. In fact, you would add them on Squirrel Facebook if such a thing existed. By evening, you risk one last dash across the street, then retreat into your fragile nest. Sleep is fitful, interrupted by sirens, owls, or the threat of eviction from an attic hideout. For a New York City squirrel, every day is a cycle of scavenging, dodging, stressing, and surviving. This is a life far shorter and harsher than your forest cousins. Luckily for you, some humans are looking out for you. Much of your diet becomes human discards. Bread, chips, maybe a French fry or two. These are high in carbs, low in nutrients. Over time, this takes a toll on your body. Your teeth become decayed. Disease in your body grows rapidly, and you start becoming friends with some nasty old parasites. Ticks, mites, and fleas galore. You've truly reached one of the lowest points of your life. As you feverishly pick and nip at your skin and fur, you notice that you're crawling with pests. Deep within your stomach, you feel the presence of large, writhing worms, and your once healthy droppings now tainted with the presence of salmonella. Noise pollution, constant human presence, dogs trotting past, traffic roaring, it's chronic stress. Your stress hormones remain elevated. You're always on edge. This weakens your immune system. While you're already having the worst possible time of your life, this is just the beginning. It's time for you to survive your very first winter season. You begin to stash food, nuts in soil, behind rocks, and in tree hollows. But none of these hiding spots are foolproof. The foot traffic of the city population displaces and destroys the nuts hidden in the soil. Snow and ice cover the food hidden in the rocks and trees. You just can't catch a break this holiday season. Your shelters become less insulated. All nest sites are colder, some completely frozen solid. All as the evil human children play in the snow and are filled with glee from the coming holiday. You begin to understand the Grinch's hatred for Christmas. You've survived the winter season and made it past your juvenile risks. However, you're still looking at a brutally short life. Over the coming year, you'll sustain numerous injuries. You'll have your fair share of falls from high off of tall buildings, electrocution from days of playing in the power lines, and entrapment in vents and trash compactors. You'll often have the roughest of days running away from hawks, cats, and even those pesky New York City rats. You've had close calls with all sorts of speeding vehicles, even the subway transit system. It'll seem like everything's out to get you. But when it comes to survival, you are a persistent little guy. Today is one of the luckiest days of your long city squirrel life. You made it to your very first birthday. Have an acorn with some of the few surviving siblings you have to celebrate. You've earned this. In the wild, a squirrel like you might live much longer, but alas, all this city boy stress is getting to you. You're not getting around quite like your younger self was. Seemingly brittle and weak from the agony of city living, a low-life creature such as yourself must rely on assistance from beautiful human scientists. You're sure to cross paths with a wildlife rehabilitation expert at some point. Keep your furry spirits high, old guy. You writhe around in despondent agony, hoping to catch the eye of one of these educated higher mammals, when suddenly your mite-ridden eardrums are rattled by the sharp shriek of a passing wildlife rehabilitation volunteer. He quickly rushes you to the emergency vet in his hybrid economy car. You slip in and out of consciousness as he carefully tucks you into a shoebox with a soft blankie. Don't worry, he's poked holes in the shoebox so you can breathe. The volunteer, who just so happens to be a veterinarian's apprentice, wastes no time. He quickly stabilizes you by placing you in a nice, warm, medical plexiglass box, all while measuring your respiration, temperature, and hydration levels. He notes your body is completely emaciated from dehydration, disease, starvation, and infestation. This disturbs him deeply, his darkest case yet. He will have to sacrifice hundreds of man-hours and thousands of taxpayer dollars in order to nurse you back to health. This will include everything from a basic fecal float to deep intestinal surgery to drain your ingrown botfly larval abscesses. You're in great hands. Your puny squirrel body is exposed to several vaccines, radiation, antibiotics, antihistamine injections, and antiparasitics, from fenbendazole to buprenorphine and a large dose of isoflurane. Your volunteer human has loaded you up with more drugs than your impoverished fur body could possibly handle. He lifts you up for all his staff to see, laughing at the mere notion that failure was ever a possibility. Your diseased state could have never bested his 2-year associate's degree and unrestricted access to veterinarian equipment. He grabs his cell phone and immediately uploads images, videos, and stories of you and him without your consent. This creates a false narrative about your relationship with him and how he came into your life. Deep down, you should have known he never truly cared for you. This was his goal all along. It was clear his social media influencer job pays out way more than the rehabilitation volunteer work. Now his social media following is almost as high as your blood chemical levels, and it's time to set you free. After several months of waiting and withstanding painful treatments, your physical and mental shape is back to the good old days. You are almost free and ready to get back out there for several more years of grand city adventures. Our good volunteer friend sets you down in Flushing Fields, a park located in Queens, New York. He takes one last photo of you to create his final viral squirrel post and steps away as you begin your new journey. So, what exactly will you do first? You take in all of the nature you've missed while you were away, the feeling of nostalgic breezes, and the familiar sight of some of the friendly critters you've met on your journey fill you with joy. It feels as though your life has just begun. Shortly after taking in your first few breaths of not-so-fresh city air, your stomach begins to rumble. It's time once again to find yourself a meal. You quickly spot a half-eaten container of fast food French french fries in the road past the entrance of the field. You begin to make a wild dash for the fries. After all, this is your first day back, and you should treat yourself. You pick up a french fry and take your first mighty bite, your memory drifting back to your youth, back when Mommy Dearest was nearest. Things could not get any better than this moment right here. Just then, a car horn with a decibel level that rivals the roar of Zeus deafens you. Within seconds, you're flattened under the powerful wheels of a semi-truck. You try your hardest to reach for a second french fry, but your arms just aren't doing the trick. It's at this moment you quickly realize this is the end of your story. You spend the final seconds of your reality curled up next to this delicious pile of fast food. Such is the life of a humble city squirrel.